Today we're going to be looking at a real game between two 100 Elo rated players. On the white corner we have Fernanda Tammy, who tells me they like to throw caterpillars outside a bedroom window to see if they land on their feet. I think that's cats, but okay. On the black corner we have Raul Delfa 6220, who tells me that he's so manly that he likes to drink milk straight from the bull's udder. I had to inform him that a bull doesn't have any udders and he was most likely just sucking on its penis. So introductions out of the way, we start off with A4, best by test according to Fernanda Tammy. Black responds with B6, getting ready for an early fianchetto. Rook A3, stupid move, but I guess it's actually an obvious continuation of the previous stupid move, A4. Bishop B7, black fianchettos his bishop on a very nice diagonal, as planned. Rook back to A1, exclam! White was like, got you to waste time calculating plans to take advantage of my rook on A3, but I'm actually just gonna move it back, ha ha ha. Black was like, dude, I'm 100 Elo, I don't make plans, and continues to just throwing out his development on the queen side. A5, just straight up ramming his pawn through black's queen side. No pieces developed whatsoever, don't need no queen, a bishop, knights. He's like, I'ma just destroy him with a single pawn, watch. Black, like the Chad he is, he just ignores white's threats. He's like, go for it, pussy. Doesn't realise that after the dust settles, he's just going to end up exchanging off the only active pieces he had. But what is a master strategist without a plan B? B pawn, you're up. Black as always just ignores any pawn pushes and continues with his development by redeveloping his light square bishop to B7. I mean, there are other pieces that should have been developed first, but whatever. Aha, where does your knight move to now? Oh, there. No idea what D3 was supposed to do. It doesn't defend his pawn. Doesn't really help with development. Yeah, no idea. Black just takes a free pawn. Oh, that was his master plan, to get his knight to D2 for some reason. Of course, how could I be so foolish? Black here could have just won the queen with knight to C3. White's knight just trapped his own queen with his last move. But instead, black retreats his knight because we can all agree that it was under some serious pressure in that position and just needed to get out of there. Of course, another pawn push from white. Queen H4. After retreating his pieces to passive squares, he's like, okay, now it's time to get aggressive. Question is, will white see that he can defend his pawn and attack the queen? I don't know why white hates developing so much. It's like he's trying to solo the game with a single piece and neglecting everything else. I think this might be Cristiano Ronaldo's chess account. Black retreats back, keeping an eye on that juicy pawn. White just goes back to trap his own queen again for some reason. But now with the knight blocking his own queen from protecting the pawn, black is free to take that pawn. Knight B1, undeveloping his knight. I don't know what Ronaldo's plan is. He's like, trust me bro, the pieces are more effective on their starting squares. This knight just ran a whole lap, taking away squares for his own pieces. Black must have paid off this knight before the game because this is a natural traitor piece if I've ever seen one. Black doesn't see that his queen is now hanging and plays king to D8. The worst move I've ever seen in a chess game. Which means that it's also the best move I've ever seen in a parallel universe somewhere. White sees it and takes the queen. Somehow his god strat of leaving his pieces undeveloped is winning him the game. You know, at this point black is feeling that tilt of hanging your queen and is like, fuck your queen, and sends his weakest piece to take her out. The pawn is undefended, so just gets taken. Black plays knight to E4. I'm guessing to try and free up some squares to further harass the queen. We all know noobs love making one move threats against the queen. White takes the knight, not seeing that it's being protected by the bishop. Ah yes, the typical where opening poison knight trap. I see it all the time in this line. Black recaptures the queen, and this is why you don't resign against a low rated player. These guys hang their queen
somewhere between 700 billion and 1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000
times in a game. White develops his bishop, attacking nothing. Black takes the pawn and is now also attacking the double agent knight. White moves his knight to a3, not noticing that it can just be taken by the bishop. He either has a serious blind spot for the bishops, or hasn't quite figured out how they move yet. Black also misses that he can just take the knight and just moves his bishop out of one threat and jumps straight into an oncoming car. The next series of moves just straight up melted my brain. I could not figure out White's idea at all. This is the chess equivalent of a baby just shitting and peeing itself at the same time. Bishop takes b6. Yeah. Black takes the hanging knight. Bishop takes c7 check, just going full kamikaze, no fucks given. King takes. Instead of just taking a bishop with an almost equal game, White decides to get fancy and unleash a discovered attack, although it doesn't work at all. Free pawn, sure. White then just moves the king out and resigns, sticking to his principle that no pieces of his shall be developed. The end.